Welcome to Reddit Echoes, where I share everyday stories filled with drama, suspense, and moments that keep you glued to the screen. Today, I have real stories from Reddit honest accounts, where people openly share private experiences that can be controversial, emotional, and thought-provoking. Let's listen together and reflect on who you would stand with in these tough situations. Story 1. My parents called me a traitor. Just because I moved out. I'm 24 years old. I work full-time as an IT officer for a government agency. Sounds chill, right? Like I've got a stable, independent life. Wrong. I still live with my parents. And let me tell you, living in that house feels less like a home and more like a psychological prison. Every sigh I make gets scrutinized like I just confessed to murder. Lately, I started blacking out. Constant fatigue. So I went for a full checkup. The doctor told me my nervous system was on the brink of collapse due to chronic stress. If I didn't change something soon, I'd start experiencing early onset menopause, before I even turned 25. That's when I knew I either move out or I die. So I quietly found a small apartment 6 minutes away from my parents' house. I didn't tell them until the lease was signed and the deposit paid. I thought I was doing the mature thing. I wasn't running away, I just needed to breathe. But when I told them, my mom screamed like I'd told her I had cancer. My dad shattered a glass and called me a traitor. They said I was ungrateful, that I was abandoning my family responsibilities, that I should have asked for their permission because your mother is sick, we need you. And yes, my mom is sick. She suffers from a stress-induced seizure disorder. I'm the only one in the house who knows how to handle it when it happens. My dad panics. My little sister just cries and hugs her. I've been the accidental family doctor for years. I used to believe it was my job to carry that burden for the family. But what about me? They didn't care that I was constantly exhausted, that I couldn't sleep, that they'd monitor my laptop, forbid me from gaming or making calls after 9 p.m. I'm 24, earning my own money, working and studying full-time, and living like a grounded teenager. I even thought maybe if I move out, my sister could use my room to study. My dad wouldn't have to sleep on the floor anymore. I could still help them when needed, but also have space to heal. Win-win, right-wrong again. They yelled that if I didn't cancel the lease, they'd disown me. That they'd tell everyone in the family, which is hilarious because none of those people even remember my birthday. The wild part. The rent money is mine. I earned it. And yet in their eyes, I still had to ask permission. And that's when the doubt hit me. Am I selfish? Am I a bad daughter for just wanting peace? But then I remembered crying in my office bathroom because I was scared to go home. Collapsing on the floor because I couldn't breathe. Feeling like a ghost in my own house. No, I'm not wrong. They called me a traitor. But if choosing to survive over drowning in toxic control makes me a traitor, then so be it. And you know what? I've never slept better than I did that first night in my new apartment. No yelling, no judgmental stares, no constant pressure to exist only for others. Just me and freedom. So what do you think? Am I the traitor they say I am, or just a young adult finally choosing herself? Story 2. I locked my nephew in the bathroom for an hour, and now I'm the villain in the whole family. I never thought that a single afternoon of babysitting would turn me into the #1 villain in the family. I'm 28, single, childless, and honestly not very good with kids. But last weekend, my sister, 26, called me and said, "Can you watch Ryan for a few hours? I've got some things to do." I should have said no. I really should have. But because I was stupid and thought he's just a 6-year-old kid, worst case I watch cartoons with him for a few hours, I agreed. At first it was fine. He watched cartoons, drank juice, and I even thought, hey, he's kinda cute. But then, the nightmare began. About 40 minutes in, the kid turned into a wild beast. He ran around the living room, kicked a pillow at my face, spilled a bowl of popcorn on the floor, and jumped on it with glee. I tried talking to him, even tempted him with my phone iPad cookies, but Ryan just screamed, "No!" and ran around like he was auditioning for The Exorcist Kindergarten Edition. Then he went into my bedroom, grabbed a Sharpie, and started drawing on the walls. I knew I was doomed. I yelled, "Ryan, stop!" He turned, stared me down, then kicked my shin and yelled, "Don't touch me!" I called my sister. No answer. I was worried about my old dog Lucy, 13 years old, with a curved back and weak knees. And then, just as I feared, Ryan chased Lucy into a corner, grabbed her tail, and yanked hard enough to make her yelp in pain. Lucy gave a warning bite, not breaking skin, just a reflex. Ryan screamed like he'd been stabbed then. Threw a cup at Lucy. That was my limit. I grabbed him, took him to the bathroom, and said, "You need some time to calm down." I locked the door from the outside. The bathroom was well lit, free of dangerous chemicals, and the door didn't lock like a jail cell. But yes, I locked him in there. I sat right outside the door, checking every 5 minutes. "Are you okay, Ryan?" At first he screamed, then he cried, then silence. After about 15 minutes, I heard running water. He was playing with the faucet normally. I took that chance to clean up the room and check on Lucy. When I came back, I realized I'd left the kid in there for nearly an hour. My fault. I admit it. My sister came back, saw Ryan's swollen and scratched face as he ran out of the bathroom yelling, "Mom, he locked me in the bathroom." And just like that, I became the villain. My sister went nuts, yelled at me like I'd thrown her kid into a tiger's den. I tried to explain. "He attacked my dog, trashed the house, drew on the walls. You didn't answer your phone. I didn't know what else to do. Locking a kid in the bathroom is not the solution," she screamed. Then she went home and posted a 1,000-word rant on Facebook about the evil uncle who locked the poor child in the dark. I was called authoritarian, dangerous, and unfit to be around children. Half my relatives blocked me. The other half messaged saying, "We actually understand you." I didn't hit him, didn't yell. I just tried to protect my old dog and keep the house from turning into Home Alone War Edition. I feel guilty for leaving him in there so long, but anyone who's been terrorized by a 6-year-old destroying their living space and threatening their pet will understand I just wanted to survive. Am I the bad guy, or just a victim of a kid, and a mother who refuses to take responsibility and blames me? If you think this story is controversial, that's exactly right. Because sometimes family doesn't make you stronger. It just makes you want to lock yourself in the bathroom and cry alone. ChatGPT Junnoy Story 3. I recorded my best friend's fiancé and ruined the wedding. I know, I'm the bad guy. Or at least I've been asking myself that for a week after this incident. I'm best friends with Jack, a kind, decent guy who makes you feel guilty if you think badly about anyone. And he was about to marry a woman named Brianna. I used to think she was fine. Charming smile, soft-spoken, pretending to like Marvel because Jack did the kind of person who was always just perfect enough. Until I accidentally overheard a conversation at her bachelorette party. The party was a weekend getaway at a seaside villa. I wasn't the host, just an invitee. Most of the time, I sat on the balcony staring at the sea, drinking beer, wondering why I was there with 10 girls I barely knew. Then one night, I was standing hidden behind a glass door about to step outside when I heard Brianna giggling in the hot tub with 2 close friends. She said, "Oh my God," finally relaxing, not having to see that little brat's face. I frowned. Little brat? Then one friend asked, "How do you even tolerate that little devil?" And Brianna laughed loudly. "Just tolerate it, what else? Thank God he's not old enough to be sent to military school yet." I froze. They were talking about Jack's son, a 6-year-old boy, well-behaved and innocent. I don't know why, maybe instinct, I pulled out my phone and started recording. She went on. "I just wish he'd move to live with his birth mom. Get rid of the hassle. Living with him is like cleaning up after a stray dog." I said nothing, just stopped. The recording went straight to my room, sat down, and thought, what should I do? When I got back, I met Jack. Without beating around the bush, I played the recording. He didn't react. No questions, no yelling, just listened. Then he said, "Send it to me." I sent it. He thanked me, then told me to delete it. I said okay, but didn't, because I still wasn't sure if I'd gone too far. The next day, Brianna called me. 20 missed calls. I didn't answer. Then Jack messaged block her number. I asked, "You okay?" He just said, "Please." I did as he asked. That night, I got a message from a mutual friend. Brianna posted a breakup status. I was shocked. Jack didn't say anything more for days. Until one evening, he sent me a message. I asked her about the kid. She said she loves him. I played the recording. She was speechless. Then she asked why I recorded her. I didn't answer. Just said the truth is more important than pride. And then it was Brianna who called off the engagement. Not Jack. Am I the villain? Maybe. But if you've ever seen the eyes of a child calling you dad being called a stray dog by someone else, you'd understand. Jack escaped a hellish marriage. His son escaped a wicked stepmother. Me, I lost a few friends, got labeled a sneaky spy, but I accept it. Am I a betrayer, or the only one sane enough to prevent a tragedy? Put yourself in that situation. Would you dare do something bad for a right reason? ChatGPT Janoi. Story 4. I decided to divorce because my wife wanted to punish my stepdaughter by making her go to school without hygiene. I'm a 35-year-old dad married for 6 years to a wonderful woman, or at least I thought so. I have a 10-year-old daughter from a previous marriage, and my wife has a 13-year-old daughter from her previous marriage. My wife's stepdaughter, let's call her M, was originally very well behaved and kind, and I never had a reason to punish her. Everything was fine until recently when M got into trouble with a classmate. The other kid bullied her because her mother is gay, and M retaliated by mocking that kid's mother for being poor. The conflict escalated to the point where the other kid's parents punished their child by banning them from playing for 3 weeks. But instead of disciplining M properly, my wife proposed a punishment that gave me chills, making M go to school without bathing, without deodorant, and without changing into clean clothes for 3 whole days. You heard that right. 3 days of no showering, no hygiene, wearing the same clothes, so that she could understand what it feels like to be poor. I was stunned. I told my wife straight up, "If you do that, I will get a divorce." She looked at me like I was crazy. She said this was a reasonable punishment and that M deserved it. She added, "As a parent, you have to understand that sometimes you have to teach children by making them uncomfortable." I scoffed. Teaching kids by making them dirty and hurting them. That's not education, that's abuse. I love my daughter and will never accept such a punishment, especially one that strips her dignity and embarrasses her in front of friends and others. I made it clear to my wife, I will do whatever it takes to protect my daughter, even if it means losing you. And then everything fell apart. A few days later, my wife prepared clothes for M and said she would send her to school in that hygiene condition. I immediately stopped her forbidding M from going to school like that, and we had a huge fight. In the end, I was firm. I told her this is my final limit. If you do this, I will go to court to divorce and seek custody of my daughter. My wife coldly replied, "Go ahead. You won't get anything from me." I felt devastated, not only because of the family issues, but also because of the indifference and cruelty shown by the person I once loved. I talked to a lawyer and began divorce proceedings. My daughter and I need a healthier environment where children are loved and protected, not punished through mental and physical harm like that. What infuriates me most is my wife's disregard for parental responsibility and turning punishment into a form of torment for my stepdaughter. I know many will ask, why not be patient since she's just a kid? My answer: no matter how patient you are, there are limits. When an adult is willing to harm a child to satisfy personal emotions that's not love, that's selfishness. Now I live in stress and sadness, partly because I lost someone I thought I'd be with for life, but more importantly because I have to protect my daughter from undeserved harm. I want to share this story to say one thing. Parenting is not a power to punish, but a responsibility to love and protect. If you're suffering abuse or injustice in your family, don't hesitate to seek help. Children deserve to be treated fairly and kindly. What do you think about this weird punishment? Do you agree that this is reason enough for a divorce? Story 5. Refusing to share lottery winnings. Fiancé flips out and demands to share with his stepdaughter. I'm a 35-year-old woman with a very well-behaved 4-year-old son. I met and fell in love with my fiancé 2 years ago. He loves my son and me very much. Before moving toward marriage, I won a lottery prize, not millions, but enough to live comfortably if I budgeted wisely, and most importantly, to secure a safe future for my son. I kept the winnings quite secret, and 75% of that money was put into a savings account solely for my son, which he can only access when he turns 21. My fiancé never knew exactly how much money I had. He only thought I was fairly well off. I didn't want to brag, fearing complications. But things changed when I asked him to sign a prenuptial agreement. The trouble started when he found out about the money I set aside for my son. He immediately changed, becoming cold, distant, and started accusing me of hiding finances. He said he had a 5-year-old daughter from a previous relationship and that it was unfair not to share money with his daughter. He even claimed that the lottery money was just luck, not my effort, so it should be shared equally between both kids. I made it clear that this money was strictly for my son, and that was my right. He threatened to leave to break up and even called me selfish and a freeloader. What shocked me was that in all the years we knew each other, he never once mentioned or told me about his daughter. I had no idea she existed. Now he constantly texts and calls telling me I'm ruining his daughter's future. I don't know what to do. I truly love him, but I can't allow myself and my son to be treated like this. I ended the relationship, returned the engagement ring, and asked him to leave my house, but he still won't let go, sending messages to friends and family to defame me. I'm starting to suspect whether this daughter really exists, or if it's just a tactic to force me to share the money. If she does exist, why has he never told me? Why doesn't he spend time caring for her? Or is it just a manipulation tactic? I know I'm not wrong. I'm protecting my son's future, and I won't let anyone use love to hurt my family. I hope you understand and support my decision. And if anyone is in a similar situation, don't hesitate to stand up and protect yourself and your loved ones. What do you think about my fiancé's behavior? Was he right or wrong to demand sharing the money with his stepdaughter? Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed these stories and want to hear more real, funny, or intense tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts on these stories or any experiences you'd like to tell. See you in the next videos.